to come back off at the moment.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cash. It's how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Yo, 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 what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
Down the Marco.
Oh, yeah, we got to cook. We got to cook tonight. I hope everything is well with all of you. Good evening. Happy Monday. If you were here earlier, then you already know what type of time I'm on. I just wanted to acknowledge something that is significant for humanity in general, that ceasefire. That ceasefire to me was so important. I don't know how long it's going to last, but the fact that we have any common ground over there, I'm all for it. Between them, between what's happening in California, the New Orleans situation, and the situation over in Las Vegas, there's just so much going on. You got to really be grateful that God is still here with us, still keeping and covering us with all we got going on. I appreciate you all for being here this evening. We got some stuff to discuss. I see my co-host is in the building. I will bring her up here very briefly. Just want to say shout out to my writers, my poets, my content creators. You know who you are. Garrett, who popped up, salutes to you, sir. Takara, wherever you are, salutes to you, ma'am. Good to see you back. This particular story, it's a little touchy, man. I'm gonna bring it up to the screen and read a little bit of it. I want you to get a close look at the young lady that is on camera. My phone rings. It's usually the enemy trying to interrupt or interfere with what I'm doing. So I need to unplug, take the batteries out the phone. I told you to stop doing that. I rebuke you. I rebuke you. You're not about to ruin my stream, bro. This young lady, makes you want to be more aware of how you take care of your body. It makes you want to question who you lay down with. And it makes you want to put a little bit more respect on intimacy, being promiscuous, overly sexual. So let me bring Miss Sydney up here. Do me a solid. Hit the thumbs up, share, repost. Let the people know that we about to get into this conversation. If you have any thoughts, anything that you want to share, agree, disagree with, leave them in the comment section. I'll see it. I'll highlight it. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into this. Sid, you up? Talk to me.
First of all, happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. And I absolutely love the suit. Super cool.
Appreciate it. I pull out the threads every so often. You know what I'm saying?
Looks nice. Makes my average sweatshirt look pretty schlumpy right now, but it's okay. I don't mind.
It's all good. I'll come up here with a tank top for real. As long as I'm comfortable, it just depends on the mood. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it is Martin Luther King. I just felt like, yeah, I need to throw on something. Go ahead and give your intro to the people if you want.
Yeah.
The title doesn't really give you, like, I was exaggerating a little bit with the title, but honestly, once you see what I'm talking about, you'll know why I made it that way.
Well, my husband has definitely, Resident Evil was one of his favorite games, so I definitely get the reference. I'm just not sure which disease we'll be talking about. But for all of you that do know me or don't know me, my name is Sydney Quist, and on social media, I'm known as the Science Squid Poetry. Currently, my main forms of social media are Blue Sky and Spill, the newest app. And obviously, I'm here on YouTube as well. I have my bachelor's degree in psychology, my master's degree in environmental education, and I absolutely love to discuss all things science and culture, history, things that are happening today, affecting us today. So I am really excited to find out what the topic is today. Also, I just thought I'd share, I'm very excited. I just got accepted into a program that will be helping me put together my manuscript for my poetry book. So I finally have gotten the ball rolling to put a poetry book together, to put my work out there. And I also recently got invited to be a board member of a nonprofit organization that I've been working with. So a lot of happy news lately. So I'm very excited to be able to share that with you guys. They'll also be featuring my art for the first time. I've never been able to get my artwork out there. I don't really talk about it very often because I never knew what to do with it, but I make animals out of pipe cleaners. I'll show you a couple the next time I'm on the stream once I've finished a couple of my pieces. But they're gonna be featuring some of my artwork in their gallery. So I'm super excited to finally get that stuff out there.
That's fire. That's fire. Congratulations on the success.
Thank you.
You put in the work, you know, you will get the benefits from it. It might take a while, it might come soon, it might come later. But if you put in the work, you will reap the benefits of it. So congratulations.
Thank you. As I say,
I'm happy.
It's persistence. It doesn't matter if you're fantastic, if you're the best person in the world. What really matters is if you put your passion into it and persistently pursue that passion. And so I'm super excited that finally something is coming up of all the work that I've been doing. So yeah, but I would love to hear more about the topic that we're going to talk about today.
Yes. So I'm going to put it on the screen. I'm going to read the article. It is a Ohio woman. I don't want to slaughter her last name. Her first name is Linda. She's a 30-year-old woman who apparently has made her way through a couple of states, and doing her ventures, she managed to spread her joy, so to speak, to a number of people, roughly over 200. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can see her face, and I'm going to read the article, and then we'll go from there. Now, initially, when I saw the story, somebody had already covered it, but they don't typically go live and discuss these things. They usually just clip it for about 10 minutes and then kind of go off with the rest of their evening. I want to go in depth with this, so I'm going to bring this up on screen real quick. Let's see here. There it is. Boom. And I will read this real quick as soon as it pops up on the laptop. Here it comes. I'm just waiting on it.
Oh. I think I found who you're talking about.
Still waiting on it. Oh, there it is, right there. Right there.
Yikes.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna go. Let me go ahead. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to read that whole paragraph right there, and get your initial thoughts. An Ohio ex-worker allegedly had contact with more than 200 clients despite knowing she was HIV positive. And state officials are warning anybody who engaged in risky business with her to come forward and get tested. Lindsay Lassess, 30, had contact with at least 211 clients from multiple states in the 2 years since January 1st, 2022, which is around when she took an HIV test, learned she was positive for the potential virus. Authorities said Lissette solicited most of those clients on Market Street in Marietta, a small city in southeast Ohio on the border of West Virginia. But the possibly infected people are believed to be spread across the East Coast.
That is repulsive. Oh my God. I agree with Garrett.
Yeah.
That is definitely biological warfare. That is intensely disgusting and highly dangerous, especially because if they don't know and they're not paying attention to the news, they don't pay attention to their health, the probability that this could spread from her victims to additional victims is quite high. That is absolutely disgusting. And just to say this for the viewers that do not know, if you do not treat HIV, that can, in many cases, I don't know if it's like all cases or just percentages, but it can turn into AIDS. And once you have AIDS, there's nothing you can do to fix that. And it causes damage to your immune system, and it will shorten your lifespan. If you contract AIDS, even if you do take the medication to manage the symptoms, it will shorten your lifespan. And so she has definitely put many of these people at risk of dying much earlier than they should have. So that this is definitely a huge problem.
Well, first of all, let's get this out the way. If you don't know what HIV is or what AIDS is, you did not take sex education.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get told the birds to the bees. Something is wrong there. First of all, there shouldn't be a single human being over the age of 16 years old that does not know what this is. Then again, the fact that we even have to give this type of information says a lot about the educational system anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, once you have it, like she said, there's no going back. But what I want to ask you is how can someone just spread that so quickly without any type of remorse? You don't care. You're not even considering the lives of other people that you're getting involved with. What has to go?
Well, one of the first thing that comes to mind, there's three components in my head, at least, that would likely contribute to her having this behavior. One, because of her direction in life, it is highly likely that she experienced some form of trauma in her early life that has messed with her mentality, messed with her view of herself and other people. So there's definitely an underlying trauma that is contributing to this behavior. I also, given just looking at her face, you can tell that she has done heavy drug use. I can't say for sure which one I have a guess of which one I think it is, but she has definitely been involved in heavy drugs, which will also impact her ability to make good decisions. Additionally, the HIV itself will also cause mental health damages as well. It can cause confusion. It can cause dementia-like symptoms. it affects your brain. So there is also that. If it has been, because she's received no treatment, this virus is active in her system and it is doing damage to her brain, to her ability to think logically. So there's also that. And also another factor that I just kind of thought of, if you are an ex-worker, you are likely in dire straits when it comes to your economic situation. You probably are, if you're not homeless, you're probably living in places that are not desirable at all. She is very likely doing a lot of this out of desperation, and is doing so out of necessity. And she also could have an addiction to the act itself. There's quite a lot of factors that I'm guessing are contributing to her rampant activity. For me, I think it's a little bit more like, why are these people choosing to be with her? I can definitely see the lack of education aspect, but it also kind of speaks to the level of depravity that exists in our culture today, willing to do whatever you can to get your rocks off and willing to do it with just anybody because of needing to get your needs met. But I definitely imagine mental health is a huge, huge component in this situation.
I would also like to add on to this. Everybody didn't have the Brady Bunch lifestyle, and it's like unfortunate because we can't put everything on our upbringing, but our upbringing does 1000% play a huge role in our development mentally and emotionally. You take on characteristics of your mother and your father and people in your household, and you think that their way of living is always the best course, but you don't really know that there's a generational curse that is attached to them and it spreads to you. You don't recognize it, and nobody interjects, and it absolutely spreads to your children and your children's children and your children's children's children. Until somebody absolutely steps in, catches it, and eliminates it, is always going to be a problem. When I look at this lady,
go ahead.
When I look at this lady, I got you. When I look at this lady, I think somebody in her house did something. It might not have been like physically to her, but something happened in her house.
Or with somebody.
Maybe, right. Because nobody just grows up and say, I want to be a prostitute. No one grows up like that.
Yeah. You have to have a very damaged psyche to pursue that type of career. There has to be something wrong with your attachment to people to pursue a career like that, because I mean, without generalizing, maybe there is the random rare person that just for whatever reason, maybe they have like a condition that makes them crave that type of behavior. But for the most part, people that become ex-workers have underlying trauma, and that is what brought them there. And oftentimes people do not turn to ex-working unless they do not have other options. There's also, for the people that did these things with her, I bet there was an element of denial behind it, even if they saw the symptoms, because you definitely manifest symptoms of these diseases, rashes, and you can get sores on your face. There's other symptoms that are less obvious, like lethargy and muscle decay and stuff like that. But there are physical symptoms. I guarantee some of those people noticed it, but thought, oh, it won't happen to me. I'm not gonna contract it. That's not gonna happen to me. So I bet there's an element of that as well. I've actually had personal experience. A family friend of ours had contracted this from his partner, and that was his mentality. He knew that this partner had this disease, but he still pursued a relationship with this person with the mindset of, it's not going to happen to me. But sure enough, he did contract this. They both contracted this disease. And sadly, the person he contracted this disease from passed away at age 30. This happened last year. So it is a very, very dangerous disease to play Russian roulette with.
I mean, even risking your health for sex anyway is dangerous. I don't know. We've gotten to an age where nothing is off limits. We will risk it all. If you can look clean and have 20 different STDs and viruses going on in you, and people, they'll just look at you and think, oh, you're beautiful or you're handsome. That means you're clean. No, it doesn't.
Oops.
Like she's the prototype of what you would expect somebody to look like if they had something. But to be honest, a lot of men and women out here look completely normal and extremely healthy, and they're walking around with this.
Mm-hmm. And I want to mention too, it's not just HIV that's a risk. Syphilis can cause this damage.
It's crazy to me, right? Because like I don't know where you got to be spiritually or mentally to where you would be okay with just laying down with somebody. Oh, they got this, but I need to get my needs met. I need to get my rocks off. Let me go. I'm gonna go ahead and risk it anyway. As long as I put on a condom, I'm gonna be protected. I can't catch nothing if I put on a condom. I'll be straight.
Your saliva
Or maybe you're so drugged.
That's definitely one of the misconceptions. You can go ahead. Sorry.
Let's even say. No, I was just gonna say, like, you can be on drugs and like there's it's too many different things going on here. Dudes are so thirsty for any type of attention that you will risk your stuff falling off for a piece of ass. I never understood paying for it anyway, going out here at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, driving around looking for it. I think that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. If you got to go out here and pay for it, you probably don't deserve that. Get any type of love from a single female. Handle your business, Gert. It was something else. I'm gonna hold on to that, but yeah. I can't. I sympathize with people who to a certain extent. I don't feel sorry. Like if you ended up catching something because the person lied to you, or you were born with this because of what happened to your parents or something like that, that's something else. But if you voluntarily going out here inviting that type of energy, I can't really help you. I can't really say nothing for that. I yield the mic.
And the more partners an individual has had, the more likely they are to contract these diseases. And as I mentioned earlier, the risk is not just you getting sick, but many, many of these diseases like syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, many of them will also impact your genital, your reproductive system as well. It can make you infertile. It can prevent you from being able to have children at all. It can cause physical damage to those extremities. It can cause a lot more damage than people anticipate. It's not just a matter of like taking a pill and, oh, you're sick for a little bit. It's not like the flu or a cold. Like sometimes you will live with this for the rest of your life. If I remember correctly, Al Capone himself died from syphilis that he had gotten from sleeping with all of the women that he did during his time period. There are immense consequences to contracting these diseases. And as you said, the birth control methods don't always work because you can pick it up just from, if you have open sores touching, like if you touch their blood, you can get it from them. If you get your saliva in your mouth, it basically, if your mucous membranes make contact with each other, your mucous membranes in your nose, your mouth, your internal body parts, any of those, if they make contact with somebody with that disease, you can get it. You can get it from sharing needles, which is another way she could have gotten this disease. You can also get it if you improperly take care of wounds, which if you have one of these diseases, or if you do drugs, you're also more likely to have open festering wounds that are more likely to pick up these diseases. Sharing blankets can also pass these diseases. So there are many ways you can pick these up without even having to sleep with these people. So even if you take precautions, you could still get it from them. So it's very, very dangerous to play with your life and make a decision like this when there's a lot at stake to catch a condition like this. To answer this question, one of the things with some of the diseases, it's not all of them, but if you're asymptomatic, the person is less likely to contract the disease, but it doesn't completely nullify the risk. And also, if I remember correctly, HIV doesn't always progress to AIDS. So taking those medications can prevent your body from changing it from HIV to AIDS. I'm not entirely well versed with the biological concept of how it changes from one to the other, but from what I remember from our friend's experience, as long as you take the medication and you manage the symptoms, it won't turn into AIDS. But once it has progressed past a certain point, there isn't anything you can really do. So it is the case. Some of them can be managed by medication, and some of them with medication can be prevented from spreading. But there's also are they actually taking their medications? Are they being honest about it? So it's still something that you have to be very wary of, because you really, if somebody has that disease or any of those diseases, and you know your partner has it, there's a lot of things that you have to do to keep yourself safe. And it's very, very difficult, especially if you have intertwined your life with this person, because you can get it from drinking a cup of water. You can get it from, as I said, sharing blankets. You can get it from kissing. So it really is a little bit case by case basis, depending on how far into this disease you have gotten. But I hope that kind of answered your question. But yeah.
She's known that she's had this. She's known that she's had this from what it says from January the 1st, 2022 to about 2024. So through all of this time, she's been still out here doing her thing with all these people for all of this time, not caring And what I don't understand. Well, let me rephrase that. You've probably at this point you've probably already given up on your life for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're conditioned to do this. You've accepted this is your fate. The addiction is taking over. That spirit is taking over. You're angry at the world. You're angry at yourself. You're obsessed with getting money this way so that you can feed your habit. The
And if you have
dudes,
brain damage too, that will dramatically affect how you perceive the world. It's like people, it's not the same thing, but people with schizophrenia literally have altered perception of reality. They don't, in their moments, they don't have the ability to understand what is reality and what isn't. And so that's why it can be very challenging for these individuals to get along in normal society if they don't have their condition under control, because they literally perceive the world differently than people that are typical, neurotypical. And so a lot of these syphilis, gonorrhea, HIV, they can degrade the brain itself. And so that will also further alter their perception of reality. And they'll, I'm not sure if you've seen anybody that's been like on heavy drugs, but they can be, as we call it, whacked out, just like not even perceiving what's around them. They're not aware of things that are happening to them. They're just not in our world anymore. And I don't know her whole history, so I don't know exactly what she has done, but just given the you can tell what type of drugs people have used by how their face malforms, because it will degrade your jawbones, it'll degrade your teeth, it'll degrade your nasal cavities depending on what she's done. And she very clearly has that jaw and mouth degradation that you would expect from somebody that does drugs. So I anticipate that both of these are causing damage to her face. Also, I wanted to mention, I looked it up just for Kara, or Kara, I apologize if I said that wrong. So HIV, this is from the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. HIV medications are known as an antiretroviral therapy, and they reduce the amount of HIV viruses that are in the body. It's called virus suppression. And so basically it reduces the viral load in your body to a very, very, very low level. And so it reduces your risk of transmitting it to other people. It doesn't completely remove the risk, but if you continue to take the medication, it prevents it from festering in your body, and it can prevent transmission to other people as long as you stay on top of it. But it doesn't completely eliminate the risk, and it does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. So you can still get syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, all the other ones if you are taking HIV treatment.
something I want to add too, like if you have it, but you took the medication and you don't contract AIDS, and you're not drinking, smoking, you're really staying on top of it, and you decide that you want to go out here and date and be involved with people, you absolutely 1000% have every piece, portion, crumb of obligation to tell people exactly what it is. Let them have the determining factor if they want to entertain that or not.
Mm-hmm.
There's
And
no walking out of this.
That, like, you must, if you have any of these diseases, you must tell your partner and anyone you've had contact with, especially if they are immunocompromised already. It can be very, very deadly for people that have a weakened immune system to begin with, people that have cancer, people that are on immunosuppressants because of other autoimmune disorders or other problems, and newborns as well. So you have to be very, very cautious if you do have this disorder to let people know. That way they can take the proper precautions to protect themselves as well.
I did a story a couple of weeks ago.
Flu, I can address that question as well, but I'll let you talk first.
I got you. I did a story a couple of weeks ago. An African American woman. She was intimate with a college football player. The gentleman didn't tell her that he was positive for it, and it absolutely destroyed her mentally. It did something to her psychologically, and now that don't seem like it connects here, but she was lied to, and she felt betrayed, and she felt like she had a death sentence. So what she ended up doing, she said, "Oh, fuck that. You're gonna do this to me? All right, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take this shit out on everybody." So she went from state to state and went on apps. She went on like Bumble and all these little dating apps that people like to go on and flirt with people and get. She was on there DMing men, setting up dates, and she was sleeping with all of them, doctors, married people, all that. She didn't care, and she kept a journal of everybody that she passed her HIV. She kept a journal of every single person that she gave it to. She was pissed. She was very like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this dude did this, man. She took her revenge out on all them dudes. I believe she did it to over 50 guys. Until one day somebody caught up with her. She confessed. She ended up behind bars. She turned it into, this is my way of
getting back.
She basically was like, I realized that what I was doing is wrong, and now I want to spend the rest of my life atoning from it. She's still in jail, but what I'm getting at is, that's like you said, that shit can really change the way that you look at life.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
One more thing. I don't know. I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is anywhere near that. I don't think that this woman right here was seeking revenge. I don't know if that's the case here. But either way, 200 people. That's crazy to me. I yield the mic.
Okay. I wanted to address the question about bird flu. There's multiple variants of H1N1. There's the avian flu, the swine flu. H1N1 is responsible for the 1918 to 1920 flu pandemic that went through the United States, Europe, and I believe it was initially called the Spanish flu because it initially started in Spain. But that one was caused by people handling poultry, people handling geese, ducks, chicken, animals that carried that. And so that variant is able to be transmitted from dead birds, carcasses to people. There's also a second variant, a different modification, a different virus. It's the same virus, it's just a different species, if you will. So it's like the chicken and the goose. They're similar, but they're not exactly the same. And that one is called swine flu. That one was responsible for the flu outbreak in the 1970s. and that one is passed from swine or pigs to people. And then the reason why H1N1 is now in the news is because the woman that passed away in Louisiana from that variant of H1N1, they discovered that is a brand new variant that is actually transmissible from human to human, and that she got it from another person who had gotten it from a bird. So this is just a new variant that is able to be passed from human to human, that has evolved to be able to be transmitted from human to human. And oftentimes this will happen with their adaptation to new climates as it moves to different regions. And then it can also come from our own use of antibiotics, because by rampant use of antibiotics, a lot of these viruses will modify themselves so they can continue to become stronger against these antibiotics that are killing them off. So that is partially why it seems like, oh, well, now there's one that can be transmitted to humans. It wasn't that it wasn't a lie. It's just new.
Look, I don't know. I don't want to go too far off topic, because really what I'm still on is how 200 plus dudes could be out here just willingly paying, giving up their hard-earned money, crack money, whatever form it comes in. Maybe it's blood money, I don't know, but y'all out here really crashing out.
Mm-hmm. And if you think
this is bigger,
if you think about it,
bigger than this.
This is likely going to affect thousands of people, because if you have 200 people that clearly have no qualms about sleeping with a woman of this degree, they're very likely sleeping with many other partners. And so if you have 200 men with even an additional partner, that's 400 people. If they sleep with 3 more people, we could easily have thousands of people that are contracting this disease because of this one person.
My point exactly. Y'all out here, y'all so pressed for sex. Y'all so pressed to be in love. Y'all so pressed. Like, matter of fact, let's just even remove that from the factor. There's nothing wrong. If you want to be with somebody, that's your preference. The fact that you look at her and you think to yourself, oh, this is a perfect candidate for a mate, I can marry her. Maybe that's not even what it was. Even if you just looking to spend a couple dollars, the fact that you even looked at her and you thought, oh, she's safe, she's protected, it's got to say something about you too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, my guy. I mean, they have what you want to call them, escorts. You want to call them high maintenance workers, ladies of the night. You got the ones where at least they get tested and checked out. Go there. But see, the type of dudes that I'm thinking that is getting down with her are probably undercover dudes, bisexuals, cats that's like on some type of opiate or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see no normal dude doing this.
Not to mention, if she also was doing drugs with other people, and obviously, again, I don't know for sure what she might be doing, but it is highly likely that she also could have been in a situation where she also shared needles with somebody as well. If she's doing some of the drugs that I suspect she's doing, heroin, would honestly, heroin I think is the most likely one given her face, but I could also see her doing other mixtures of drugs as well. It's very it's very rare that somebody this deep into this lifestyle is doing just one drug. But for a fact, for her face, she's definitely doing some form of heroin, and that is injectable. And I can almost guarantee that she probably has shared needles with somebody as well. And that's, again, another way you can contract that. So even if she didn't even have S with these people, she could still be contracting it if she's doing drugs with these people as well.
There's a lot of lost souls out here. A lot of lost souls, a lot of broken ones, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
mentally drained, weakened, um, reconditioned, repositioned people, men and women out here, man, that's walking around here like zombies, human zombies, spreading their pain and their sorrow to anyone and anybody who is susceptible to falling prey to a certain type of addiction or high.
Mm-hmm.
This is sad, and but yet and still we promote and advertise for sex every single day. We advocate for it and make it seem like it's fun, like it's just something that you can play around with, like it's a toy. It's not a joke. It's not a game.
Mm-hmm. Also,
There's
there's a
people
risk.
people are literally dying out.
There's also a risk that a lot of the people that contracted it from her are going to be so embarrassed by the fact that they had this type of engagement with a person like that they may never come forward with their own symptoms. They even said in the public broadcast, we will not judge you if you come forward. We just want to make sure that we are able to help as many people as possible, because there is a stigma behind it as well that could prevent people from seeking out the treatment they need to save their life. And so it's super, super important that we destigmatize the acquisition of a disease like this, because it can kill people. If they feel so shamed that they don't feel comfortable coming to medical professionals with this disorder or disease, they are not going to seek treatment, and thus they're more likely to pass it to somebody else. So it's very, very important that this information is out there so people understand that they made a mistake, but it's important for their life to get this treatment.
You think that is about shame or embarrassment? I think that people don't say nothing because they want to continue to have sex with whoever they want.
I think it's a mix.
I think they're both.
That are just blasé, they don't care, they're just going to do whatever, they're in the life. They might even like, oh yeah, look at me, like I'm getting around, and like there is definitely that ego behind it. But I do think that there are some people that this was just a mistake, that maybe they were desperate or looking for company or whatever and weren't really thinking, and so they made this mistake, and now are going to be ashamed by the fact that they made this mistake. I don't think it's going to be a high percentage of people because, as I mentioned earlier, if you are relying on ex workers to meet your needs, there's probably something deeper going on. There's probably a lot more behind the scenes than just like, oh, yeah, I was hungry, so I just ordered out. Like there's definitely a personality trait behind individuals that seek out these types of people. But I do think there will be at least a small handful of people that are embarrassed, mortified that they made this choice, that they had a moment of weakness and decided to do this. Kind of like those individuals that think in the back of their head, like, this is probably not a good idea, but they brush it off. And then afterwards they're like, shit, that happened. But no matter what the reason is, it's really, really important that this information gets out there for anybody that wants to take care of their health and wants to know these things and wants to keep themselves safe, because unfortunately there will be those people out there that do not care and are like, fuck it, like, I don't care about my life, I'm willing to throw it away, who cares, I'm just going to die young anyways. Like, there definitely is that mentality out there, but this is more so for the people that made a mistake, that have families, that want to live a full life, and that just had a moment of strange weakness. I definitely don't see the appeal, but I can understand if you are in a hard place and this is just part of what had been happening to you. And I do feel for the people that didn't have that mentality and are now experiencing the consequences of a single action.
You call it a mistake and call it a moment of weakness. I call it a lack of discipline. I call it making a horrible decision, because I don't care how desperate I am, how lonely I am. I don't care how long. Look, it's been some time since I've been intimate with another woman. And I'll tell you right now, the way the world is right now, people getting trains ran on them. Lily Phillips did the 101.
She's done more since
Bonnie
100.
Bonnie Blue just did 1,057.
And hers were
Don't nobody
that woman in Britain, she was specifically picking boys who just entered into college so she can educate them. She was specifically targeting young men so she can be there first. That is nope. I don't even know what to say to that. I just no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, man, it ain't nothing that you can propose to me that's gonna make me that pressed at all. Y'all have all these little issues with men grooming legally aged women, but we don't talk about how these women be out here preying on little ass kids.
Mm-hmm. I just recently heard a story of a woman that she was there's a boy, he was a teenager, and his friend's mother was regularly having relations with this boy, and she was basically setting up sleepovers for her son with this boy specifically so she could have relations with this other kid. It is not just men going after women. There are definitely women that also go after young men. It's disgusting, to say the least.
Yeah, so I don't really really feel bad for a lot of these dudes, for real, because you thinking with the wrong head. You want to go out here and have fun and experiment, and you think that some social media is telling you the real. They're not telling you the real.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these folks will never tell you that they walking around with the itch.
Mm-hmm.
They won't say shit.
And
They'll
a lot
just
of
let
people are
you
in denial
partake.
themselves. A lot of people don't actually do the due diligence to check up on their health. A lot of people will skip doctor's appointments. They go, I mean, think of all the people that don't actually brush their teeth. Like if there's so many people that do the bare minimum to maintain their health and do not have an awareness of what different symptoms mean and what they're feeling inside and how it relates to the things around them and the things they've been doing. There are a lot of people out there that have no idea what is going on inside their bodies. And if you're engaged in these lifestyles and these behaviors, it's going to be really hard to keep. If you're with 200 different people, it's going to be immensely hard to keep track of all of the different things that you could be put in contact with. And I guarantee there's going to be things that slip under the radar and that you're going to ignore because it just becomes your reality. And so it's very, very dangerous when you do anything with people that have been with hundreds of partners, because you do not, as they say, whoever you sleep with, you're sleeping with everyone they've slept with. So these men that chose to sleep with her also slept with those 200 people that she slept with. Yeah.
I don't pursue your purpose, your calling, embrace what God wants for you to have. Stop worrying about getting your nut off. Go to the gym, read a book,
Eat healthy,
pray, eat healthier, brush your teeth,
and
wash
that's
your
actually,
ass.
I will say, brushing your teeth is a lot, like, it's an underrated activity. Most of the blood-borne diseases can actually be contracted because of dental hygiene issues. So brush your teeth. That is a huge component of health. And I'd be happy to do a talk just on dental health if you want in the future. But all of these things, make sure you're focusing on maintaining your health, because we don't realize it when we're in our 20s and 30s because we're young. It's easier for us to recover. But once you get to your late 30s, 40s, 50s, these things will catch up with you. If you do not do your due diligence early in life, it will come back and bite you in the ass. And these people are going to suffer. These people that contracted this from her, they will have shorter lifespans. Especially if their HIV turns into AIDS. So it's incredibly important to pay attention to your health. I'll give a personal example. I have epilepsy, and I have to make sure I go to a cardiologist, I go to a neurologist. I have to make sure that I'm watching what I'm eating and how I'm taking care of myself, because the things I do will impact how often I have these seizures. And so for any person out there, it's very, very important, especially today with all of the stuff that's happening in our world. You have to really stay on top of your health, and make sure that it can't snowball into a larger issue that can definitely shorten your lifespan.
Yeah, we gotta have a sex educational talk with the people, huh?
Hi, Anna.
Or just even just being clean. Damn, Anna,
Mhm.
what's going on? Yeah. Do you want the short version or the long version? The short version is a 30-year-old woman had intercourse with over 200 men, knowing that she had HIV. The question is, did they know and didn't care, or was she just maliciously out here spreading it? Then on top of that, imagine being married to one of these dudes. Imagine being in a relationship.
They cheated. Like, if you're in a monogamous relationship, supposedly, and then you find out that they slept with this woman and then slept with you without telling you, I cannot imagine the level of rage some of these people would be feeling if they found that out.
There's dudes right now in jail because they found out that somebody gave them a STD. There's people that's in jail right now that found out that they had sex with a transgender person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how people are going to respond to this, and that's probably another reason why people don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all really, y'all really out here wild and irresponsible, heartless, don't care about nobody but yourself.
Even the Bible discusses this, where in the Bible it explicitly says that there are consequences to, I'm obviously not in these words, but there are consequences to rampant sex. There are issues that will arise if you give in to that feeling regularly. And he does not say it specifically, but he definitely hints with the signs that you have been committing these acts multiple over and over again. And there are actual symptoms that they mention just in their historical understanding. Like boils and some of the plagues are very closely related to some of the manifestations of STDs. Mm-hmm.
Look, think about this. Once you've been exposed to sex, once you've been exposed to different people, you get bored. The routine gets old. You get tired of doing the same thing over and over again. Something pops up on TV. It looks different than what you've experienced, what you're used to. You start getting curious. You need more excitement. Like it triggers you to explore darker things.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, you doing shit that you shouldn't be doing. I think that's how a lot of these pedos are born.
Mm-hmm. You acclimate to the conditions, and you gradually become comfortable with worse and worse treatment and choices.
Yeah. So it's not all fun and games. It's not all cute. The young lady in this uh, particular topic, I don't know how she ended up where she is. I think a lot of us find ourselves going down that path. It might not be in her situation, but it always ends up in similar spots like this where you turn one way and you make that wrong turn and you regret it forever. It's hard for you. It's hard for you to come back from that. How do you bounce back from becoming an addict, having people inappropriately touch you, and then it just screws you up, and now you've gotten so accustomed or so used to it that you float out there in the sea with anybody who is just as damaged or broken as you are. Hurt people, right?
Yep.
Wrap it up, folks. Wrap it up. Sex is not the end of the world. It's not the beginning of. It's not everything that you think it is. Like it's beautiful with the right person, but like, come on, man.
There is a lot of fact behind wanting to stay monogamous. I'm not saying that, I mean, there are people that are more interested in like polyamory and stuff like that. But if you engage with sex with many people, you absolutely must be on top of your hygiene. You must you really should not give yourself to somebody that you do not know, that you do not trust, that you do not know their history of. It is incredibly dangerous for you to engage in those personal type activities with somebody that you don't understand. You should really save yourself for the people that you know and you trust.
Can we normalize making that normal again? Like it's okay to be with one person.
The pendulum will always swing back, and I hope these types of stories are bringing that pendulum back, because we definitely need that. Case in point.
Really. But you know, it's going to be a bunch of dumbasses that's going to ignore that and still go out. You still going to see people going out here running trains on females and all this. Like, we're there. There's no going back. It's like you got it, so you ain't got no choice. Either you either get it and you don't care that you got it, and you're just gonna go out here and spread. That's why you gotta go. You like, come on, man. There's somebody for everybody. You don't need to be with every single person out here, man. Find your person, stay with your person. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. I guarantee you, all these people who done got caught up, like, this is one story. I just gave you another one. That was a completely different one. This was a black woman who was out for revenge. She purposely went out her way to spread it. I did a reaction to another one way before this. There was another African American woman that was out here. I believe they caught her too. She was on a run because she was out here spreading it. Like, that's two separate cases of people out here purposely spreading that shit to folks.
I believe they also made it a law that you can actually get charged if you knowingly spread an STD to other people. If you know you have it and you spread it to other people, you can actually be charged with a crime. I don't know if it's a state by state thing or across the whole country, but I do know that there are laws in place that if you knowingly are spreading any of these diseases, you can actually be criminally charged.
I don't know why it wouldn't be a crime anywhere.
If it isn't, it should be.
Yeah, just like you better tell people that you are transgender. This one drink, he said, I don't tell nobody that I'm a transgender until I feel comfortable. It might be within a week, it might be within 6 months. I don't tell them until what are you talking about? You don't tell them until you feel comfortable.
That's really important to tell someone if you're going to sleep with them, because that's like not telling someone that you're like, I don't know. I can't really think of an equitable example, but I don't know how, like, that has to do with the preferences. Like, what if the person is not interested in having intercourse with somebody of that sexuality? Like, they're I don't understand why you wouldn't tell somebody. Oh my God.
Exactly. And you don't even have to have, like, if you go down on me and you give me a blowjob and I find out that you're a dude, I don't know how I'm going to react to that. I'm just being unbiased with that, because
some
people don't respond the same way.
It can be seen seen as insulting, or like there are some people that are so opposed to the idea of being with the opposite sex or being with the same sex because of their sexuality that it can be really emotionally jarring to find out that you are with somebody that you don't align with in terms of your attraction.
Stay the hell away from me. Stay the hell away from me. Don't. I don't. I was talking to a co-worker. He was like, "Man, make sure you ain't got nobody around you who is like, no, I'm not. I don't have nothing against. Stay the fuck away from me, though.
Mhm.
No, we no bueno. We don't do that over here.
Yeah.
I don't play around with that shit. And these operations and these surgeries are so good. You really gotta pay attention. You don't know. You might think but that's neither here nor there. Y'all too horny, man. That's the bottom line. Y'all too horny. Y'all too pressed, and you end up getting some shit that you can't get rid of. Stop it. Just
Get
stop
some
it.
help.
That exactly. I was looking for it. I was looking for it. I ain't have it right there. But yeah,
Stop it. Get some help.
I'm a little late on it. I found it. Do you have any final thoughts on this?
Well, just kind of reiterating what I've said, just please be very cautious about who you engage with, what relationships you have, and be very on top of your own health, being aware of symptoms that you might have, especially if they're coming up after you have had intercourse with a person. It's especially, I mean, I'm not saying that it's easier for one gender or the other, but it's especially important for women because of the effect that it can have on the children that you might eventually have. You can pass many of these if you have a V birth for your child because they can get it from the microcosm inside your body. But in general, be very aware of your health, be very wary of the people that you are being vulnerable with, because you need to trust who you are being with, that they're giving you the correct information, because there are a lot of people that will not know or will not disclose this, as we've seen. So be very, very cautious when you engage in relations, and honestly, don't give in to all this BS about, oh, I'm just taking back my sexuality by sleeping with all these people. It is dangerous. You are playing with your life and it's not worth it. It really isn't. I mean, just being in the relationship that I am with my husband, we've been together over 9 years. It'll be 10 years at the end of this year. And it's so much more rewarding to be with somebody that and trust and cares about you and cares about your health and their health. It is so much more fulfilling and it helps in so many different ways. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to find somebody that is there for you and cares about you. And if you are being with person after person after person, they are not obligated to care about you because you are just a passing night. So be very cautious about who you give yourself to.
Say no to drugs.
That too.
My final thoughts on this as we conclude tonight's show. Something that Kara said that I wanted to acknowledge. Soul ties. We did a show on this one too.
Mm-hmm.
When you sleep with multiple people, I've said this before. Not only are you carrying portions of their spirit, but you are carrying portions of spirits that they carried.
Mm-hmm.
So if they slept with 30 people, congratulations. Those 30 people will roll over into your life on top of the number of people that you already slept with before them.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're accumulating all of these fractions and broken pieces of people, you're picking up their habits, their lifestyles, their iniquities. You're picking up on their history, their drama. You don't really see it until you see it start to manifest itself.
They'll always reside in your memories as well. Like, I've been lucky to have been with only a few partners before I ended up meeting my husband. But to this day, I still think back on those experiences and still hold those in me. And even though the people that I chose to be with were respectful of me, it was not a negative relationship, I still sit with the fact that, man, I was with those people. I gave myself to those people. And just a fun fact, I ended up finding out one of the people that I was with in college, like probably 3 or 4 years after I stopped interacting with him and everything, I found out that he was a pedophile. He ended up going to prison for owning child pictures. And so you really, really have to be very careful about who you associate with, because it can sit with you for the rest of your life. And if you have 1,000 people in your inventory, imagine how plagued you will be throughout your life of all those decisions. It's people underestimate the psyche of having that type of background. And you can do physical damage to your body. You can do psychological damage to your body by having these relationships. Even if you never catch an STD, even if you're never abused, even if you're never other thinged, you will still sit with those decisions for the rest of your life. And it's not something you should willingly subject yourself to. Also, thank you, Kara and Anna, for joining. I'm glad it helped.
Your relationships fail because you got too much going on spiritually. You got too much traffic in your house.
Mm-hmm.
This is you. Let's say this is your outer shell. This is the flesh. This is the door right here, which is pretty much like your heart, and you introduce and you allow people inside your house. Your house is spotless, it's clean, but you're letting unclean spirits into your house. What's going to happen? They don't wear shoes in your house. They shit everywhere. They don't flush the toilet. They leave food out. They damage your windows and your ignition blinds, and they don't make the bed up, and they crap everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
When you let unclean spirits in your house, what happens to the house? The house is sick. The house looks horrible.
Mm-hmm. Trash.
So it's completely trashed. Remember what's that movie called? X? It was I just had it too. But I hate when that happens. But yeah, that's essentially what she's saying too. And yeah, that's why I'm cool on just dealing with any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? The hope just helps. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Thanks for picking this topic. It definitely needed to be discussed, especially with the stigma behind STDs and not wanting to, like, a lot of people want to brush it under the rug. So I really appreciate that this was brought up.
That's a fact. That's a fact. It's not just the physical part about it, with the lady
Mm-hmm.
doing what she's doing, but it's that spiritual side of it too. You can tell that she got a lot of unclean spirits in her.
Mm-hmm.
You
She
know,
needs
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, we all do
Mm-hmm.
real spill, but I'm not gonna hold y'all too much longer. Kara, Anna, Garrett, who had to leave. I appreciate everybody tapping in with us. If you want to stay in contact, you already know how.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, Lord willing.
With
Uh,
Jason no less.
right. Garrett gave me a lot of different things to speak on, so I gotta pick one. He gave me like 5 topics. I'm gonna choose one. He goes off in the comment section. He does.
I love the candor. I love hearing alternative opinions and ideas for discussion. I love talking about human health and human just our interactions with each other. It's quite fascinating to me. So I definitely enjoy having these types of discussions, as gross as some of them might be.
Hey, we all grown over here on this side of the internet. Things
Mm-hmm.
don't have. We don't have to do the kindergarten stuff. I know a lot of folks be on that. We good. Um, but yeah, I go back into my. Y'all have a beautiful evening. I'm going on my prayer wall. Yeah.
We should all pray after this.
No, yeah, seriously. Um, I'm definitely going to. So I hope y'all guys enjoy the rest of your evening. If you need to reach out, you know how. This is Assembly of Excellence saying good night. Enjoy the rest of, well, pretty much all of it. Hold on. I wanted to close. Let me see something. I always do this, and I don't know why, but hold on. All right. Let me see. Now, let me find. Hold on. I,
Gotta get
all right.
soundboard last say.
Oh yeah, right. But I was looking for. Actually, I was trying to get the comment off the screen, so when I stop the live, it won't still be up on the. That's. But nah, we good. We good now. Do me a solid, like, share, subscribe to the channel.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
And
Cut it out.
see y'all tomorrow, man.